terrible.
Worst administration in the history of our country. Worst.
Yours?
Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter died a happy man. You know why? Because he wasn't the worst president.
Jesus Christ. This is our president right now, guys.
Look at this drop, Kate. Oh my, minus 29 points. That's a 30-point drop in under 3 months of time.
All right, you are about to witness a masterclass in deflecting blame and avoiding responsibility in multiple different sectors at once. Because right now, Trump has a few 5-alarm fires that he's not taking any responsibility for. I mean, we have not forgotten about the tariffs that are placed across many countries. We have definitely not forgotten about Signal Gates. We currently have Abrego Garcia being held in a prison with no proof of body. And right now, the economy is not in a good position as other countries push us away. There is a bunch going on. Oh, and by the way, this morning, Russia invaded further into Ukraine, killed a bunch of civilians off the back of Trump pausing intelligence. So he is creating a bunch of fires, and he's not taking responsibility at all, which might be why he broke a new record. A quick round of applause to our president for breaking his own record. A historic achievement, hitting a brand new low in the polls as independent voters continue to feel the squeeze of his economic policies. They feel the overreach of ICE and these deportation plans. This says Donald Trump's approval rating breaks unwanted record. And you know, we'll talk about his approval at the end of the video. I think what's more important is the substance of the economic plan that he doesn't have, his terrible, incoherent tariff plan or whatever, and then his reaction to Abrego Garcia. Listen to this clip where he says he has nothing to do with it whatsoever, and then in the next breath he says, go talk to my lawyers at the DOJ, the Trump admin lawyers.
Mr. President, before hold you in contempt, will you take steps to return Kilmar Abrego Garcia to the United States and put him in front of a judge?
Well, I'm not involved in it. I'm going to respond by saying,
Dude, you are involved in it. In fact, you're so involved that the Supreme Court said Kristi Noem and your administration, by the way, Kristi Noem was appointed by Trump. The Supreme Court said you have to facilitate and effectuate the return of Abrego Garcia. So when you say you're not involved, and then in the next breath you cite your own lawyers, it's just you deflecting responsibility. But we're going to see a lot of that. Again, to any MAGA supporters that have been watching my videos lately, I do welcome you with open arms. I hope that you watch my videos, engage with me in good faith in the comments, and let me know what you think. And you cannot deny that this dude just deflects, avoids blame. Watch this clip of him talking about tariffs, and then I'll debunk what he's saying after.
On China, Mr. President, you said you have
You have said in the past that you aren't worried about allies growing closer to China as a result of your tariffs. And this week we saw Chinese President Xi Jinping visit with 3 of our allies. Should you be worried that they're growing closer?
no.
Mr. President, will you pick up the
Nobody can compete with us. Nobody.
You said that you would.
Nobody can compete with us because nobody will be trading with us. There's a really interesting point about what Trump just did to global trade that many people are missing. And basically, he created 2 separate trade zones. The average tariff across the planet, if you remove the US, is 5%. So if you want to trade to another country, on average, there'll be a 5% tariff on some selected goods, just specific goods, which is tariffs are supposed to usually be surgical, right? What Trump did is he put 10% tariffs. He doubled that on every country. So now, if you are any other country and you're looking to trade, you see 2 trade zones. One, where you trade through America and you get hit with a 10% tariff, or anywhere else in the globe and you get hit with the 5% tariff. It's like, have you ever seen this meme of Squidward watching Patrick and SpongeBob through the window? If you can see this on screen now. And he's incredibly sad. And he's like, man, they're all having fun without me. That is we're Squidward right now. The US is Squidward. The rest of the planet now is in a new trade zone. I wouldn't say a free trade zone. It's by definition not free, but compared to the US, it might as well be because damn, Trump doubled the global tariff rate, which was 5, and put 10% tariffs across the board. That's not even mentioning the extra tariffs on Canada, the targeted tariffs on certain industries, and the 245% tariff that is now on China as of this morning. It jumped an extra 100% somehow. Watch this clip of Trump placing pressure on Jerome Powell now. It's everybody's fault except for his. China has been ripping us off for decades. Other countries, our allies, have been ripping us off. Jerome Powell, which, by the way, he's just the face of the FOMC. There's a whole board of experts and bankers that have a consensus whenever making economic decisions. It's not just Jerome Powell himself, but Trump wants to find a scapegoat, so as the economy creators, he doesn't have to take any accountability. That's his MO.
Mr. President, on Jerome
said that the termination of Jerome Powell cannot come fast enough. He says he won't leave, even if you ask him to. Do you believe you have...
If I ask him to, he'll be out of there. But
do you believe you have...
He won't. Jerome Powell has been very... Why haven't you then? Why wouldn't you just ask him? Trump literally tweeted out this morning that he would love to have Jerome Powell gone. You do it then. You can't. You genuinely can't.
Power to remove him? And are you trying to do that?
I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late.
Wow. She asks a question and he totally doesn't answer. I don't know how I'm surprised at this point, but she asks the right question.
Do you believe you have the power to remove him? And are you trying to do that?
I don't think he's doing the job. He's too late. Always too late. A little slow. And I'm not happy with him. I let him know it. And if I want him out, he'll be out of there real fast.
This guy just is so insufferable.
Worst administration in the history of our country. Worst.
Yours?
Jimmy Carter. Jimmy Carter died a happy man. You know why? Because he wasn't the worst president.
Jesus Christ. This is our president right now, guys. Perhaps the most vile president in American history is sitting in the Oval Office and demeaning a former president who just passed away a few months back and who served our country. Well, Jimmy Carter actually gave up a lot, unlike Trump, who does this for his own self-benefit and to deflect blame. What a wild thing to say about Jimmy Carter. I also want to update you guys on some breaking news that happened during this Trump presser. Live updates. Active shooter reported at Florida State University. Multiple patients hospitalized. Terrifying situation. Trump was asked about it. It says, while hosting the Italian Prime Minister in the Oval Office, President Trump says he's been briefed on the FSU shooting and will have more to say later. He calls the shooting, quote, a shame and, quote, a horrible thing. Okay, let's go on to this clip of Trump taking questions before the Italian Prime Minister touched down.
You said they have a good relationship with President Xi. Why not pick up the phone and call him and make a deal?
Oh, we're going to make a deal. We'll have a deal. I think we're going to make a very good deal with China.
The only deals that Trump has made thus far, actually none, but the only deal he's done is backpedaling on his own prior word and making exemptions for certain electronics coming in from China. Their biggest export he made an exemption for. So by the way, it's so funny, I'm sorry. When Trump is saying he's doing these 245% tariffs against China, that's with the exemption of their largest exports into America. You have to know that caveat. Maybe Trump's terrible policies are why he's super unpopular. Listen to Harry Enton breaking down how he broke his own record. I played this clip on an episode a few days ago, but it's just too good not to play again.
Yeah, we'll focus in on independents here, and independents feel that Donald Trump has vacated the center of the electorate, catering to his base. What are we talking about? Well, let's talk about the overall net approval ratings. We're going to look at the worst ever at this point in a presidency. The old record among independents for the worst ever was Donald Trump back in 2016. A net
Wow, he broke his own record.
approval rating of minus 16 points. Well, Donald Trump has broken his own record here. He now holds, in this particular term, the worst ever net approval rating at this point in a presidency among independents at, get this, minus 22 points. He is 22 points underwater with independents. That breaks the old record that belonged to Trump. He has set the new record. He is completely underwater with...
Completely underwater. Broke his own record. I wonder why. Let's watch this clip and see if it's a normal clip in the Oval Office or if he's saying some bullshit.
No, tariffs are making us rich. We were losing a lot of money under...
I played it for 1 second and he's saying some bullshit. Tariffs are not making us rich. I mean, technically, if you want to call taxing American companies and consumers more, then sure, we're rich, but this is also contradictory with Trump's stated end goal, which is to reshore manufacturing to a point where we don't even have to import anything. And that begs the question, if we're not importing anything, then what are we going to tariff? What are we going to raise revenue on in Trump's ideal, amazing world? Again, that is why his approval rating is just sinking, because he's not a good communicator, first of all. And honestly, I think Biden wasn't a good communicator as well towards the end of his presidency. That's part of the reason why he was unpopular. His campaign wasn't doing too well. That's part of the reason why the economic dissatisfaction was so strong. First of all, inflation did hurt many people. It killed a lot of families financially. But also, Biden wasn't able to explain the steps that he was taking behind the scenes to fix it, because compared to other countries, this doesn't really matter if you're an American family struggling to get by, but compared to other countries, we did have a quicker recovery due to Jerome Powell, partially due to Biden's policies. And bringing this all back, Trump is also a terrible communicator. So he's trying to do whatever the hell he's trying to do with tariffs, and he's not able to communicate any of it. I don't even think there is anything to communicate. I think he's just BSing.
The center of the electorate, Kate Baldwin.
And this is overall. This
Yes.
is on all the issues. Now, focus in specifically on the economy.
Yeah, let's focus in on the economy, right? What is driving this overall approval rating for Donald Trump among independents to go underwater? Let's take a look at the economy. And let's take a look at Trump's net approval rating on it and look at the trend line over just the last few months. You go back to
Oof, that is bad regarding the economy.
January. He was slightly above water with independents at plus 1 point. Look at this drop, Kate. Oh, my. Minus 29 points. That's a 30-point drop in under 3 months of time.
Wow. And do you think Trump is going to get more desperate and deflect more and double down more as he realizes he's dug himself into a hole? Or do you think he'll own up and be like, you know what? I did mess up. That was all on me. I can't even say that with a straight face. Like,
what independents are hearing from Donald Trump, they hate. They hate what they're hearing from Donald Trump, and they are abandoning him in record numbers. At this point in his last presidency, he was about at even, at 0 points.
it might be because he promised on day one to lower prices, and now he's saying that we might go through a lot of economic pain over the next year or so, which is not at all what people signed up for. I'll leave it at that. If you made it this far, make sure you drop a like below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to the right of the like button. We are in the top 10 fastest growing channels on YouTube because of you guys. Love you all. See you in the next video. Peace out.